All right, sorry. Echo? Hello?
Alderman Bob Bauman. Alderwoman Malele Cox. Grady Crosby. Bill Christensen. Mark Flaherty. Representative Kaylin Haywood.
Here.
Senator Rob Hatton. Omar Sheikh. Liz Sumner. Secretary Kathy Colton Blumenfeld. I see her online. Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Okay, great, thank you. Some of you thought maybe you're running into AmFam Field with that echo coming up from the on-deck circle. So thank you for getting that fixed, appreciate it. With that said, first order of business, as always, the approval of the meeting minutes from our last board meeting, May 16th of 2025. Any discussion on those board minutes? All in, asked? Yep. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay. Meeting minutes have been approved. Next order of business, I'll kick it over to Joe Pickart, who will go through our election of officers.
Joe, before you start, can we just take another roll call? Because I did see there are people online that did not acknowledge when we called their name. Could you,
Okay.
Blumenfeld?
Sure. We'll start, Alderwoman Malele Cox. Mark Flaherty.
Mark, your mic's not on. Go to the next one.
Representative Kaylin
I can read
Haywood.
it. I'm here.
Secretary Kathy Colton Blumenfeld.
She's online, I see her.
She waved. Alderman Jose Perez. Okay, Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Did we get everybody that is on visually as, do you have everybody recorded, Robin, that?
Yes, yes.
What about Flaherty?
Yes.
Okay, great. We do have the quorum. We approve the meeting minutes. So now actually over to Joe for election of officers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pursuant to the bylaws, the governance committee is charged with the responsibility of approving and forwarding a slate of officers to the full board for vote and approval. The current slate of officers include the following: Chair, Mr. Cantor; Vice Chair, Mr. Crosby; Treasurer, Mr. Marcus; and Secretary, Mr. Flaherty. The Governance Committee at last week's meeting voted unanimously to forward that slate of officers for full approval to the board. So you'll need a motion.
So moved. Do we have a second? All in favor of those officers continuing in their position, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great. Officers are elected, as Joe indicated. Thank you. Next order of business, we will turn it over to Kyle to go through our financial report. Kyle?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, everyone. I think I've met everyone in the room, but for those of you that I have not met, I am Kyle Graham, VP of Finance here at the Wisconsin Center District. I worked closely with my predecessor, Steve Marsh, for the last 6 years, and it's an honor to be here with you today. Today's financial update will include a review of our year-to-date income statement and our projected year-end forecast. Before we dive into the numbers, I'd like to share a few important updates. The 2026 budget process is well underway. Consistent with past practice, we will first present the draft budget to the Finance Committee at the October 30th meeting, seeking their endorsement. The following week, the budget will be presented to the full board, and management will be seeking a vote for the budget to be adopted. This is my 6th budget cycle here at the district, and while the process is familiar, it's the first with a full year of operations in the expanded convention center behind us. The 2026 budget will be designed to build on the success of the past year while ensuring we remain on stable financial footing. At the November meeting, we will also ask the board to vote on the annual resolution to transfer capital maintenance funds from the trustee to the district's operating account to partially fund the 2026 capital budget. 2 important action items as we begin preparing for next fiscal year, so please make arrangements to be available November 7th. Lastly, Marty and I, along with Justin Fisher and his team at Baird, are evaluating refunding options for the 2016 appropriation debt that funds the Pfizer Forum. As with past practice, our goal is to strengthen the district's financial position, and this refunding presents an opportunity to do just that. The potential savings on a refunding will depend on market conditions, and we will keep the board updated as we move into fourth quarter 2025. Okay, so on to the financial results. We'll start with page 5 of your packet, which is the event mix summary. As you can see on line 21, column B, the current 2025 event mix forecast shows we'll end the year at 334 events, which is about 87% of our budget. This is an increase of 6 events from the event mix that was shared with the board in May. The biggest gap right now is line 5, corporate meetings. This business segment typically contributes the least amount of net income to our bottom line, so the lack of events in this category to date isn't overly concerning. And just as a caveat, while the numbers in this event mix can be useful in understanding the levels of event activity at our campus, it's far from perfect when attempting to understand building utilization and ultimately net income. We continue to work with SVA, the consulting firm supporting our ERP and business optimization project, to develop more transparent and relevant metrics to measure the district's event activity, and we may look to introduce those key performance indicators in the next fiscal year. Moving to page 6 of your packet, you'll find your year-to-date income statement through July with columns A, B, C, and D across the top. Starting towards the bottom with line 65, column C, we are essentially on budget with only a slight variance of about $10,000 through July. Moving back up on the page, line 14, column C, shows total operating income is better than budget by about $886,000 or 5.5%. As you'll see throughout the income statement reports, line 4, food and beverage revenue, is now exceeding budget. At the May meeting, actuals and forecasts in this category were below expectations. Since then, we've held a series of meetings with Levy to implement strategies aimed at controlling costs of sales and labor while maintaining service standards. Thanks to those initiatives, coupled with a strong slate of summer events, including Baird, Northwestern Mutual, Crew, and the Medicaid Conference, Food and beverage performance has rebounded, and we are now forecasting to finish the year ahead of budget. The other revenue categories are modestly plus or minus budget, but the F&B business segment is the primary reason we are seeing better than budget operating income. Line 27, operating expenses are trending about 7% over budget. Line 17, contract services, is higher due to increased use of our setup and cleaning contractors. Specifically, we saw an unbudgeted rise in arena changeovers by our third-party labor provider, driven by the Admirals' extended playoff run. In addition, we made a change to the way we are recording hospitality funds, related to naming rights contracts that now flows through this line and is contributing to the variance. In line 20, event expense is also over budget, primarily due to higher food and beverage revenue share with the Admirals, again tied to their playoff run. Despite the negative variance in operating expenses, line 28 net operating income is beating budget by $71,000 or 1.6%. Moving on to line 34, tax revenues is also exceeding budget by about $30,000 through July. There are a couple of puts and takes within the four tax revenues, but nothing overly concerning. We continue to forecast our budget for the remainder of the year and are cautiously optimistic we could see this line item grow before year end. Line 39, total non-operating revenue is down to budget, and this is due to line 38, Bucks district ticket surcharge, namely a result of the Bucks' early playoff exit at the end of last season. We had assumed a deeper playoff run in our budget. Moving on down to non-operating expenses, line 64, column C, we are within 0.1% of our budget, essentially right on target. Several puts and takes. The larger negative variances are in health and dental premiums, line 44, and legal expense, line 50. Health and dental premiums are outpacing budget due to early onboarding of employees earlier this year, and legal expenses higher than budget as a result of project initiatives the leadership team has been working on with Hush Blackwell. Most other line items are close to budget, with minor variances largely tied to timing. We expect most of these timing variances to smooth out by year end. As an example, IT expense, line 52, is under budget through July by about $72,000 or 13%. We expect that positive variance to close by year end. Overall, line 65, net income of $20.3 million is essentially right on budget and reflects a very strong and financially healthy 7 months for the Wisconsin Center District. So where do we end at year end? Let's turn to page 7, which shows the annual forecast, column F, compared to the annual budget in column E. Starting towards the bottom again, with line 65, column G, we're projected to finish the year just under budget by $155,000 or less than 1%. Moving up to line 14, total operating income is projected to finish about $1 million above budget, an improvement of roughly $114,000 over our year-to-date results. Based on the events booked in the fourth quarter, we expect to continue to outperform in both line 1, event room fees, and line 4, food and beverage revenue. On the expense side, line 28, we do expect dollar amounts to increase as we approach year end, but as a percent of revenue, expenses are actually trending down. We are monitoring wages and contract services closely as we enter the 25-26 seasons for UWM basketball, the Admirals, and the Wave. Moving to line 34, tax revenues. As noted earlier, we continue to forecast budget, but we believe there is potential for upside. As you're aware, there's a 2-month lag in receiving tax results, and we just received July results late last week. As for non-operating revenue, line 35, interest income is projected to outperform budget at year end. This is not tied to any single account, but rather reflects a stronger market performance than we had assumed in budget. And as you recall, last year, this number was significantly higher due to the large project fund balances that were generating interest. What you see this year, subject to market conditions and cash balances, represents a more typical level of interest income. Continuing to non-operating expenses, there are no major changes from the trends we've seen through the first 7 months, but I'll highlight the larger variances again. Line 44, health and dental expense is running higher due to the greater enrollment we had planned for, including employees who joined the plan earlier than anticipated. And line 50 and 57, legal and recruiting expense are projected to show larger negative variance As noted before, legal costs are up given the project initiatives management has been working on with Hush Blackwell, while recruiting costs are tied to the VP of Marketing and Communications search. All in all, we expect to finish the year within a percentage point of budget. Management is pleased with the results, and at this time, we do not see significant risk remaining. When we review these numbers for the last time in January, we don't anticipate a material deviation from this forecast. Any questions on the income statement?
Thank you. I'm generally satisfied with what I'm hearing, and I appreciate that. A gentle critique, if I may. You said that corporate meetings are usually a kind of a difficult category to meet, but there's such a variance between 57 and 21 that I would suggest that we not forecast so high. Similarly with the Bucks playoffs, I love the Bucks, we all do. The way the NBA is structured, it's likely that unless they're going to play well below their potential, they're always going to be in the playoffs. But I don't think we should forecast that they're going to go deep in the playoffs. We've had some pretty good teams over the last couple of years, and we haven't gone deep. So I think just as a conservative budgeting mechanism, we ought to expect them only to go through one round, and then be very happy when they go all the way to the championship. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Those are being taken into consideration as we prepare the 2026 budget. Both of those line items, the business meetings and the Bucks district ticket surcharge. So thank you for those comments.
Just a request. I don't know if this is pertinent, but as part of the data that we get on the financial data, can we see pace data as that's the data looking how we pacing looking forward? Because a lot of times I get questions being how's the center doing? What does it look like? But it's not what does it look like right this minute. What is it going to look like for the next few years? And we have such a forward-looking business here with things that book out so far in advance. I know that you guys do track pace, I'm pretty sure. I know you do. And so I sort of think as part of our financials, it'd be helpful for us all to see really, because it's one of those things that you can't turn the ship around in the year for the year. I don't know, maybe Peggy can, she's good. But knowing what's going on what's projected over the next few years, and that data changes, I think, probably quarterly. So as we meet, probably seeing that would be helpful. That's just a comment. And also, can you explain the bond refund piece you referred to? Because on the forum, and what does that mean, and what dollar amounts you're looking at, and how much will that improve the balance sheet?
Yeah, thank you for the questions. We can certainly look into the PACE data and provide something, Greg. As far as the refunding on the appropriation, the 2016 appropriation debt, like I said, we're working closely with Baird. The numbers are yet to be finalized. There's potential savings in that number based off of the current interest rate environment. We would be looking to do something or bring something to the board, I should say, in November. There hasn't been any sort of hard numbers thrown out there yet, but that's something that we're working with in the short term with Baird.
Greg, this is tied to the $8 million that we get appropriated from the state to repay us for the bonds that we took towards the Fiserv Forum construction. So if Baird has advised us that there are better rates for those bonds, we may be able to bring the payment down from what it's currently scheduled at. So that's the motivation here. It's very different than the defeasance project we looked at last year. It's just a matter of more favorable rate for $8 million in bonds that we're paying annually $8 million in bond payments.
So order of magnitude is not huge, but helpful.
Correct.
Got it.
Correct.
Thank you.
Great, thank you for the questions. Are there any more questions? Kyle?
Two questions. First, newbies in the financials, non-operating expenses. Item 49 is Visit Milwaukee management fees. Can you just quickly explain what that is, what that category covers?
Yes, the Visit Milwaukee management fee, there's a contract that the district holds with Visit Milwaukee that a portion of unrestricted and a small portion of restricted tax revenues are sent to Visit Milwaukee to help fund the operations to bring events into our building and into the city. That's a contracted number. We work closely with Visit Milwaukee on that number, and it's really based off of all tax revenues that are collected.
Okay, that's helpful. Great, thank you. And then item 44, how many folks do we have on our current health plan, and what is that plan? Is that fully insured, partially insured? Just quickly
I would
explain
have
what
to
our-
get you the specifics on the numbers.
Okay,
There is, I don't know the exact number of how many people are in the plan. There's
Okay.
a couple different plans. The district covers the majority of the cost related to the health insurance, health and dental insurance. The employees do pay a certain portion of it, let it be a small portion of it, but I can get you specifics on those numbers.
that'd be great.
It's a number that I'm looking at closely for the 2026 budget, given where we're at in 2025. It's something that Nyla Tuxson, VP of HR, and I have been working on in the last couple weeks.
Great. Obviously, as private sector employers, we've dealt with that for 20 years, and it's only getting worse, but there are some other pathways there, so just be curious as to what opportunities we're looking at there. Great.
Thank you for the question.
Are there any other questions?
All right, well, I'm not going to touch on them today. Pages 8 of your packet compares the 2024 actual results to the 2025 forecast, and page 9 of your packet compares the May forecast to today's forecast. Turning to page 10, you'll find the district's capital budget forecast. Line 36 shows that we're expecting to spend a little over the $3.9 million budgeted for capital in 2025. There's a number of puts and takes across this exhibit as management has reprioritized certain projects. Note that the total of lines 37 through 41 is summarized on line 35 and included in the forecasted total. Line 37, the arena concession stand upgrades, that represents a portion of the capital improvements that are required under the Admiral's contract. While there are several line items that are projected for full spend, we believe there is still room to close the $157,000 overage as shown in line 36. As we assess needs and opportunities for 2026, some of these projects not funded in 25 may be considered for funding in the coming years. Pages 11 and 12 outline the district's unrestricted and restricted cash positions, both of which remain in a healthy state. On page 11, unrestricted cash is projected to finish the year at approximately $13.3 million. While this is under budget, it is stronger than our May forecast by $850,000. Continued strength in premium food and beverage revenues, along with control of our non-operating expenses, could help close the variance to budget. Overall, management is not concerned about the unrestricted cash position at this time. And on page 12, restricted revenues are expected to grow by $6.3 million over the course of the year, finishing with an ending balance of $27.9 million. While tax revenues are slightly ahead of budget, the positive variance is primarily due to the admin fee refund on line 11 and stronger than expected interest income on line 19. As I noted earlier, management is pleased with the 2025 financial results, both on a net income and cash basis, and we look forward to building on this performance as we move into 2026. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thanks, Kyle. Great job. Are there any other additional questions other than the ones we already have answered? Kyle's already answered. Okay, great. Kyle, well done. Thank you. Your first time jumping in with us, so it'll be easier from here on in.
I hope so.
No, you did a great job. All right, with that said, I will turn it over to our CEO, Marty Brooks, for his CEO report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Kyle indicated, we have seen significant improvement since the May forecast. I want to echo Kyle's comments and express my appreciation to Brian Rakowski, VP General Manager, Megan Setman, VP Sales, Kyle, Julio Hernandez, and the entire Libby Restaurants team for responding to the higher than budgeted food product costs incurred through April. Their efforts, along with better than forecasted catering sales in May through July, were the primary drivers to these improvements. Since the May board meeting, the WCD and Visit Milwaukee sales teams have closed 94 contracts for events as far out as 2031. Notable meetings and conventions that we've hosted since the last meeting. In May, we hosted the International Moose Convention with 4,700 attendees, followed by the 2025 Salvation Army Commissioning event with 2,600 attendees. In June, we had USA Wrestling for the 2025 Air Force Special Warfare Junior National Duels with 2,600 attendees. We also hosted the 2025 USA Fencing Junior National Championships, which brought in 26,150 participants along with their families and friends. And still in June, Baird, our naming rights partner, had their reunion event at Baird Center and welcomed over 6,300 people, Baird staff, as they came together for their tri-annual event. In July, we welcomed the Crew U.S. Staff Conference, one of the largest Christian organizations in the world, gathered for a week-long conference focused on its continuing mission of evangelism and discipleship, with 5,000 people in attendance. Following on Crew's coattails, Northwestern Mutual hosted its 145th annual Meeting of Agents at both Baird Center and Miller High Life Theater, where over 11,600 agents convened in Milwaukee for another year of celebration. Board meeting, we have commenced discussions with the Admirals for a 2-year agreement that would terminate the same year as the agreement with UWM for the naming rights of the arena and their lease for men's basketball games and graduations. The Wisconsin Center District and Baird Center continue to be recognized both locally and nationally as leaders in the world of meeting and convention events. The WCD has been the recipient of 3 awards already announced to the public and 3 additional awards that are embargoed for a few more weeks. In July, the Baird Center Grand Opening Gala was recognized by NACE, the National Association of Catering and Events, as the Team Event of the Year. This is the highest honor NACE awards each year. And our competition was events from Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and it's an award that recognizes a collaboration of various event components. So it went to the production team that did the event on our behalf. Just this month, the Sponsorship Marketing Association presented the Best in Show Outstanding Activation in Arts and Entertainment Award to our corporate sponsorship team, led by Dave Schneider, for the We Energies Foundation Art Collection at Baird Center. And we are very excited to learn last week that the Wisconsin chapter of Commercial Real Estate Women is recognizing the Baird Center expansion with their Impact Project of the Year award. This award is very special to me because it recognizes the efforts we made to ensure women in the trades were well represented on the project and the overall positive impact it has had on the Milwaukee community. In addition to these awards, Baird Center is being featured by CNBC as part of their Climate Week series that is taking place in New York this week. Baird Center was invited to participate as the only venue featured in the series due to our efforts to make Baird Center a leader in sustainability. It went live on the CNBC website on September 22nd. I'm proud to share this feature with you now. A successful event is one where everyone has a good time, and the reason why they came to the event gave them the satisfaction that they were hoping for.
The Baird Center is it. It is the place, the premier place in Milwaukee to host an event.
We are in the memory and experience business. A lot of people in Milwaukee are extremely attached to the facility because it's where they went to an event for the first time with their parents, or got their first kiss, or heard a speaker that changed their life. We take having that role in people's lives very seriously and making sure that they have a great experience when they come here. Milwaukee is a great city. It's a great market. You've got people that are very down to earth and very committed to having a good place to live, work, and play. We wanted to make sure that this massive building, it's 635,000 square feet is the expansion, was a complement to the community, not a monolith that obstructed people.
This new addition to the Baird Center presents an opportunity for us to bring in 100,000 more people annually to the city of Milwaukee.
Sustainability was paramount to the owner's desire and want from day one. It was always about high-performing design, best practices of construction. We're going to stay on and go through it for a LEED certification at the gold level. So the energy efficiency measures of this project are an efficient envelope, excellent glass, efficient heating systems, very efficient cooling systems, LED lights throughout, and quite frankly is the most efficient buildings are the ones that we can turn off. This one has a unique challenge. It's either going to be thousands and thousands of people in the building or next to nobody. So when the building is occupied, it brings in more ventilation. When the building becomes unoccupied, it brings in less ventilation to closing the outside air. Similarly with the glazing, it has daylight responsive, so when we get free and natural light, we turn off the lights throughout, which is extremely energy savings, and it beat an energy code baseline by nearly 30% when you put all this together. The solar was a key piece of the design. We've got sun hitting the building, so let's use it for natural light and free light, but let's also grab some of that sun and turn it into electricity, and that helps power the building throughout the course of the year. And when you add this all up, the amount of energy that this building saves each year can power 400 homes. One of the special things that they have done here is the Orchid food digester. So rather than throwing out all the food scraps after every single event, it goes through a digester, which breaks it down, and then we can send it along with the sanitary system, and that's significant. I think there's a misconception that hosting events and being sustainable, having that part of your plan are in conflict with each other, and they're not. In fact, they complement each other. It's elevating the experience, whether it's there's less trash that people have to be exposed to, or we're seeing the utilization of product that can be used again and again as opposed to increasing the use of plastic and paper.
Just recently, we actually had some pretty bad flooding that happened here in the city. And that flooding incident would have been by an order of magnitude worse if we weren't so focused in on sustainability here in our community. So we worked with a number of partners, Environmental Collaboration Office in my administration, and then certainly with our partners in the Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewerage District in order to make sure we capture more rainwater where it falls, that we're working to make sure that folks have access to alternative fuel sources, energy sources in Milwaukee. And you see those things taking place right here at Baird Center as well.
We want people to come here and appreciate the fact that we're doing everything possible to support their event, but also be respectful that we're making as little impact on the environment as possible.
We're no longer, flyover country, as some folks might say. We're no longer like the second tier city that you easily forget. Now, with Baird Center, we have bona fide, strong facilities that compete with the best among them across the country. So, as mayor, yeah, that makes me proud.
We weren't setting out to be a leader. We were setting out to do what was right. We've been successful in that area, and we believe we can help others learn from our success in similar or even smaller sized markets and welcome those inquiries. In an effort to keep Baird Center in the national spotlight as we try to attract the best of events to Milwaukee, we also partner with Visit Milwaukee in the first ever national advertorial takeover of the National Business Journals. A series of 10 articles, some written by WCD's Drew Dawson, are being featured on all 4 Business Journal websites between now and February. The articles include profiles of Peggy Williams-Smith, myself, as well as pieces about how Milwaukee is becoming the destination for sporting events, business travel, culinary experiences, and festivals, just to name a few. Our Marcom team has been extremely busy the last few months. They are putting the finishing touches on a multi-channel campaign to promote Baird Center as a great location for small and medium-sized corporate meetings. And they worked alongside our HR department to create a launch campaign for our new employee continuous learning and development program that we have named BPX University. At the Wisconsin Center District, we believe in investing in our staff just as much as we invest in our venues. That's why we created BPX University, a training and career development program designed to help all our employees unlock new skills, grow, and give them the tools needed for success throughout life. Our motto, learn, grow, repeat, captures the spirit of lifelong learning and continuous improvement. Learn, gain hard and soft skills that not only advance their career, but also enrich their life. Grow, expand both personally and professionally. When our employees grow, so does the WCD. Together, we become stronger and more successful. Repeat, make learning a habit. Continuous development leads to fulfillment, resilience, and exciting opportunities. BPX will offer new courses in the fall, winter, spring, and summer, and our first classes being offered for the fall semester on September 29th. The little bag in front of you is the BPX University mouse pad and pen. We hope you will use them at your office. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report, and I'm happy to address any questions.
Thanks, Marty. I know, excuse me, you covered a lot of ground there. Are there any questions from Marty about anything that he has gone over in his CEO report? Okay. With that, I'll kick it back actually over to you, Marty, for a brief, and then we'll go into the next topic.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next agenda item is a personnel update, and I'm requesting that we move into closed session so we can have a discussion with just the board members.
A motion to go into closed session, please. Do we have a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. Aye. The board may convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute S. 1985-1C to consider the employment, compensation, or performance evaluation of certain WCD employees over which the WCD board has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. The board is expected to reconvene in open session following this agenda item. So we'll wait for the room to clear out, and then we'll go into our closed session. We are back on. Just the next couple quick agenda items, future board meeting dates. Please make sure you are aware of those. As Kyle indicated, the next meetings that we will have, both from the committee standpoint and the full board standpoint, will be very relevant, as they are our annual board, or our annual budget approval meetings. So please make sure you are there.
Mr. Chair,
those-
on that
Yes.
scheduling, you have rescheduled the board meeting to the date of the Common Council's budget meeting, which means you will not have 4 members here. 3 alderpersons
Okay.
and the city controller will be at the city hall, the budget.
Okay, that's good to know. Did not know that. All right, I appreciate that. We will look at our date then.
And
see-
you moved it from the Friday preceding, which, the Thursday preceding, we could come. So I just point that out.
You're talking about the 23rd,
No,
Bob?
I'm talking about Friday, November 7th.
That's an if necessary.
No, the December is if necessary.
November 7th is the budget meeting. And that, we changed that
Oh,
date back in
sorry.
May
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to this date.
I'm looking at the
Probably didn't
2026
realize
dates, yeah. Sorry, I was looking at the 2026 dates.
Bob, are you saying that the Thursday, the 6th could work? Or
Yes, absolutely. Correct, Bill? Yes.
Okay.
And that's what it was originally scheduled for, because I have it down in my calendar for that Thursday.
The board meetings traditionally are on Friday. It was originally scheduled the Friday before, but we wanted more time to do but just the way the calendar worked.
We'll find another date.
We'll get a note out to everybody and solicit
Okay.
availability.
Thank you, Bob, thank you. That's good to know. Obviously, that would have been not great. 2026 meetings are also in there, so please make sure you're there, or if there's any major conflicts, as Bob, you just brought up, please let us know so we can ensure best forward-looking board attendance. Any other future board items, please bring up now before the next board meeting. Again, we publish those agendas about a week in advance, so we need to get those on there. If there's anything, bring that up now. If not, you can also always call and email what you want to see on there. Last, we'll make a motion, we will seek a motion to adjourn. Second, all in favor, say aye. All opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you very, very much for your time, attendance, and discussion today. Appreciate it.